I came out to this pristine mountain wilderness to test out the BLUETTI AC200L power station and solar panels to see how well it will work in this cold climate. I'm at 7,000 feet elevation and I'm expecting the temperatures to drop to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. That's -6 Celsius. First of all, I'm gonna build a teepee and then I'm gonna furnish it with some basic amenities like lighting, heating, a stove, and I even brought my computer so that I can work at night. Now there's only a few hours of daylight left, so I've got to hurry to set this up and get everything inside and insulate it as best as I can today because it's going to get very cold tonight. It's already 2 p.m. I got to hurry. And we have light. The BLUETTI is 80% charged. I didn't have time to use the solar panels and charge it more today. So I'm gonna have to be very careful that I don't overuse it on this first night. I'm sharing right now, it's really, really cold. The temperature, according to the thermometer, it's 30 degrees right now. Let me just show you around really quick. I set this up really cool. I brought these hanging shelves. Up here I put some food items. Have my thermometer hanging there. One single bulb is hanging up there. Monitor, and I'll connect my laptop to it. I have a stove over here. It's a 2-burner stove, and I brought one pot and one pan. I have a space heater, and then I have a bag full of my blankets, a couple backpacks with some miscellaneous stuff, little tools. I got jackets, I got clothes. I have water, and I can hear the stream down the hill. Tomorrow I'm gonna go to the stream and see if there's fish there and I can collect more water. All right, it's time to connect some appliances and warm up this teepee. The first thing I need to do is close this door. It is too cold. All right, temperature is now 30 degrees, maybe 29 and a half. It's a tiny bit lower than a few moments ago. What's really nice about the BLUETTI AC200 is that it has 4 AC outlets. So I just plugged in the heater. It has 3 settings. I put it on number 2. This is just starting to heat up and the power has already dropped down to 78%. So it's gone down 2% in just a matter of minutes. It is drawing 930 watts. That's a level 2. Oh, but it's starting to feel warm and that feels good. "39 degrees. The temperature has gone up 9 degrees. I'm impressed that it's heated this much of the room, but the problem is the BLUETTI is down to 60% power. In a short time of like 10 minutes, the temperature went up 9 degrees, but I used almost 20% of power. So you know what, I have to turn this off and then I'm gonna cook and we're gonna test and see how much power the stove uses. This stove has 6 levels of heat. And when I turn it on level 2, the AC output is 1065 watts. It's actually more than what the space heater was using. The space heater was using about 932. Put some butter in here. Get my rice in there. Woo! Wow. And that stove is hot. Watt output, 1055. I need to get warm clothes on. Oh yes, this rice is almost done. To cook this pot of rice, it used about 11% of the BLUETTI battery. That's okay because this pot of rice will last an entire day. As you can see, I've changed my wardrobe. I've actually added layers to my body. I put a pair of pajamas underneath these jeans, and then I put another shirt underneath this white shirt, and then this heavy jacket over it. And then what I'm wearing on my head is called an ushanka. The temperature's dropping. It's 35 degrees now. I'm not going to use this space heater anymore tonight because it uses way too much power. I have an alternative that's going to help me to sleep through the night. I have a heated electric blanket. All I do is plug this in to the BLUETTI and the entire blanket will warm up. This is going to be a lot more efficient. Plus I'm going to have blankets over me, wrapped around me. I'm going to be in like a cocoon. The time is 6:50 right now. The sun rises at 6. So it's going to be dark here for the next 11 hours. Hot food is so good in cold weather. This is my electric blanket. It's not plugged in yet. I'm going to wait until I go to sleep. It has 6 settings. I'm going to put it on level 2. Maybe 3. And that should be enough for the night. The temperature now is about 31 degrees. It keeps getting colder. Good morning. It's cold. It's very cold. But I survived the night. BLUETTI is down to 29%. I lowered the power on the electric blanket to level 1 to make sure that I didn't use too much power through the night. I started at 43% when I went to sleep, I believe. So I used 14% during the whole night. And the worst thing about long, cold nights is having to go pee in the middle of the night. So I lifted the blanket a little in the corner down there and just peed on the ground. I'm going to get up, check the temperature, drink some water, and get some exercise. 21 degrees. 21 degrees. To turn off the BLUETTI, I turn off the AC button, and then I hold down the power button for 2 seconds, and it turns off. Exercise is a great way to keep the blood flowing and keep warm when it's very cold. But it's important to have enough energy inside too, so you have the energy, the calories to burn. So after I do this, I'm gonna cook something to eat. I do 200 air squats, and then it's a really good burn. There's ice inside there. What I'm going to do is heat up this frozen rice. And I'm going to eat the rest of it. I'm going to plug in the stove. Turn on the BLUETTI power button. Push the AC button. And turn this on to level 2, and that should heat up very quickly. All right. Temperature down a little bit, let that cook for a few more minutes. Oof, we're losing power, we're down to 18%. I absolutely love blue cheese. Mixing it in with my rice and eggs is an absolute delicacy to me. You know, the nice thing about cold is that you don't have to put things in a refrigerator because you're living in a refrigerator. Now it's time to enjoy this delicious breakfast. I don't know if I enjoy the taste as much as I enjoy the heat that's rising up from it. The temperature is now 44 degrees. Time to begin the daily activities. The first major important thing I have to do today is to set up the solar panel. These panels are pretty big, actually. Once the panels are up, there's a cable here that attaches to the BLUETTI solar charging cable. The ends of these cables will attach to the corresponding cables that plug into the BLUETTI. The input socket is over on this side. And then this end plugs in to the power station here. Notice this has two holes, this has two prongs. So they match. Plugs in and then screws down to tighten. I hide the cable behind. Return the BLUETTI power station back to the operating position, and it's charging now at 243 watts. The maximum charging capacity of the solar panels is 350. The time is 9:16, so I have approximately 6 hours, 6 good hours for solar charging. Some of that is going to be blocked by the treetops, so it's not going to get full charge at that time. But we're at 18%. My goal is to get this battery up to at least 70% today. The temperature is now a toasty 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 12 degrees Celsius. And I'm starting to feel a little warm in all this clothing. The great thing about this technology, this will free up my time so that instead of focusing on collecting firewood and making fire, I can focus on doing some other things, some other enjoyable activities. So by eliminating the space heater, which uses so much energy, all I'm going to need to use is the stove, the electric blanket, the light bulb, and my computer. And I am absolutely sure that the BLUETTI Power Station AC200L is going to be more than enough to supply me with my needs every day. This water container will be best if I put it out here in the sun so it can warm up. This way during the day the sun is going to heat this up. That way when I use it for cooking, it's going to require less energy to heat and cook. The user's manual of the BLUETTI AC200L recommends that the power station be grounded. And so what I have here is an 8-foot copper rod. It's a grounding rod. And I hammered it 4 feet deep into the earth underneath this decomposed dead tree stump. And I attached a copper wire to the rod. And that copper wire runs to the side of the BLUETTI where it's attached to the BLUETTI power station on a bolt. And it's just a safety measure that's done with generators, power stations, large power stations, other large electronic devices. Because if there were to be a malfunction in the machine, it could cause a surge of energy, and which could cause a fire. What this copper wire does is it gives a path of least resistance where the energy, the excess energy can flows into the rod and into the earth where it's then distributed safely. The sun was passing behind the treetops, so I decided to move the solar panels back further where they will get a little more sun. And that has helped a lot because it is now charging at 302 watts. That's excellent. As the day passes, the treetops are still going to shade it, so I'm just going to keep moving the solar panels around to get maximum sun. And right now, I'm going to take my pot down to the stream, get some water, wash it out, bring some water back up, and make a tea. This place is beautiful. Wonder if there's bears in the area right now. Wonder if there's wolves in the area right now. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a big trout in the stream over there. I'm gonna have to try fishing here later. Climbing up that hill is exhausting, especially at the altitude. The BLUETTI power station is at 34%, and the trees are throwing a little bit of shade on the solar panel, so it's charging at 169 watts right now. Another nice feature about the BLUETTI AC200L is that while it's charging, you can actually be using the energy as well. So I can plug this in and run the stove just as normal. It's going to lower the power a little bit, but I think I'll have plenty for tonight. Manzanita tea. I love manzanita tea. There's a lot of water in here. It's going to take a little while to heat. Now this stove heats water pretty quick. I love manzanita tea. Especially when the weather's cold. To heat that pot of water cost me 10% of the BLUETTI power station's energy. There's a lot more sun on this side of the teepee now, so I'm going to set up the solar panels on this side. Soon it will be in full sun and fully charging. All right. Only have a 29% charge so far. When it was in the shade, it was only charging between 15 and 20 watts. Right now it's at 238. And it's going up as the solar panels are exposed to more sun. Now my goal is just to get 50% charge. If I can do that, I will get through the night just fine. I'll be able to cook dinner, and I will be able to use my electric blanket at a higher temperature. Speaking of temperature, the temperature in here right now is 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Wow, that's pretty warm. Now this teepee actually gets warmer than the temperature outside because the sun is heating it. This is a meal that I won't have to cook. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich and raw eggs. After I eat, I'm gonna go fishing. Too small. I'm using a barbless hook so I can easily remove them. Wow, it's a big one. This is exactly what I was looking for. Look at this nice, beautiful brook trout caught on a worm. Appears to have swallowed the hook. This is going to be dinner. Well, it's 4:11. The sun has been down for, I think, about half an hour. I only have a 43% charge on the BLUETTI. So I'm going to have to be a little careful tonight with how much power I use. So I have this pot of rice, and I put the rice in a couple hours ago in water so it can soak. And hopefully that will speed up the cooking process. And then I have the fish I caught, the trout. Between the two of those, I think I'm going to probably end up using about 20% of the power. The temperature is already down to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 3 degrees Celsius. And I'm starting to feel cold. Have a long night. Another 14 hours in here. Tomorrow I'm going to have to make more of a priority to follow the sun. The sun actually was lower in the horizon than I anticipated, especially in the afternoon. I thought it was going to be higher above some of the trees, but it wasn't. It went behind them. And so I don't have a lot of time to charge the power station during the day. A really neat feature of the BLUETTI is the BLUETTI app. You download the app onto your smartphone, and you can actually you can communicate with the power station through the app. And so I open up the app, and it tells me the percentage of power in the battery, which is 43%. And I have a lot of other options of what I can do. I can turn off the battery, I can turn it on, and then there's other settings for powerlifting, grid self-adaptation. But in this case, what I want to do is turn on the AC outlet. And I have the light plugged into the BLUETTI right now. So when I turn it on through the app, it's going to turn on the light. Just like that. And likewise, I can turn it off. I'm going to put some homegrown tomatoes in my rice this time. The BLUETTI's at 41%, and I'm going to turn on the stove and cook simultaneously the rice and the fish. The temperature is already down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, -1 Celsius. I'm freezing. So cold. I'm gonna the lid on the fish. Power is dwindling very quickly now. This in here with the fish is going to cook faster. Oh, it smells so good. And it's almost done. Flip it over again. Well, that was exactly as I expected. Running both burners to cook the pot of rice and to cook the fish used 20% of the power station's energy. A nice side benefit of cooking inside here is that it raises the temperature. The temperature is up to 35 degrees now, 2 degrees Celsius. Looks good. And the fish smells great, especially with the tomatoes. Ah, this is so yummy. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Such a wonderful gift. It's nice just to lounge while eating my dinner. This rice is so good. I added butter and blue cheese. Oh, so delicious. You gotta try it. And then there's trout. So fresh. Just caught a few hours ago. And the meat is just delicious. I'm gonna get in these blankets. I'm gonna try to warm up here a little bit. This is how I do it. Wrap this blanket around that way. And I got one more blanket. I wrap it around this way. And then I'll be warm. Oh yeah, how do I turn off the light from here? Well, guess what? The BLUETTI app, they must have thought about that before. Because all I have to do is say, lights out and good night. Last night when I used the BLUETTI app to turn off the light, I was also turning off the heated blanket. And I didn't realize it for about 2 hours. I turned the AC power back on and just unplugged the light. And so I used the heated blanket only for about 8 hours last night. And it only used 4% of the power of the BLUETTI power station. I slept really well last night. I feel really well rested. And you know what else? Surprisingly, it wasn't very cold last night. The temperature only dropped down to 30 degrees, minus 1 degrees Celsius. So right now, I'm going to go for a jog, do some exploring, go down and look for other fishing spots by the stream. Then I'm going to come back, heat up some rice. I have enough for 2 big servings. And then the sun's going to be rising and it's clear. There's no clouds in the sky. So I'm going to focus on charging that. I'm going to keep the solar panels in the sunlight as much as I can throughout the day. So I'll be moving them around a lot. So hopefully I'll be able to get the power station charged to 50 or 60%. All right, let's go. Down there, check the stream. Often places like this that are surrounded with vegetation and have deep pools are good places to catch trout. The BLUETTI power station is now at 5%. I used 8% to heat this rice. It was a lot of rice, so it took a little bit longer than I anticipated. I still have 2 full servings of rice in here. "8:42 in the morning. I already got full sun on the solar panels. Great way to start the day. Wow, that is really good. In 1 hour, the solar panels charged the BLUETTI AC200 from 7% to 21%. That's 14% in 1 hour. I am very impressed with that. This is a good start for the day. This is Pindo Palm juice. It tastes absolutely amazing. While the solar panels were busy transforming sunlight into energy for the BLUETTI power station, I took a nap in the sun. Afterwards, I buried the remains of the trout under a young, healthy pine tree. I then cleaned the pot with cold water from the stream. I'd put the pot of rice in the sun so that it will stay warm. This way it will cook faster on the stove and save energy. For lunch I had raw eggs and warm rice. I ate lunch while sitting on a rock and observing the beautiful landscape. I moved the solar panels to their afternoon position where they will receive full sun for a couple of hours after the sun passes across the treetops. Exercise is an important part of my day, so I did push-ups and other warm-up exercises on the rock. Then I worked on a simple bushcraft project that involved hollowing out a yucca stalk. The sun was getting low in the horizon, so I moved the solar panels one more time today. I needed about 2 feet of cordage for the bushcraft project, so I got busy making the cordage. It's easier to roll cordage on bare skin. To finish the bushcraft project, I just need to tie the cordage to the hollowed out yucca stalk. Basically, it is a quiver, but I will use it for something else. The sun quickly set, so it was time to get ready for a long, cold night. %. My goal was 50 to 60%. The solar panels could easily charge the power station in one day if I had full sun all day long. Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna heat up the remaining rice, and I'm gonna turn on the light and plug in my computer. All right, heating this little bit of rice shouldn't take too long. And then I'm just gonna eat some raw eggs with it. Keep it really simple and low power. That was quick. That only used 3% of the power. I can unplug this now. Oh, 6 raw eggs. Now I can enjoy the rice. I made this to hold dry flower and leaf arrangements. It brings the smell of pine inside my teepee. And the temperature is 34 degrees. It's cold, but guess what? I got something to show you. I hooked up my computer. Look at this. This is so awesome. And it's not using much power at all. I just went down to 45%. It's been connected for several minutes already, so I think I'm going to be able to use it for probably a couple of hours at least. But I'm going to do something else also, because it is really cold and I could use a little more warmth because my fingers are freezing. It's hard to work on a computer when my fingertips are numb. So I'm going to cover myself with this blanket, the electric blanket, and hopefully that heat will keep me comfortable enough to work. This should work. This is cool. I like this. I like this. I like this. Yes. All right, let's get busy here. The power's down to 25%. I can't let it go down any lower. I'm gonna shut down my production right now. The time is 7:36 p.m. I've been working on this for about an hour and a half. It's drawing about an average of 160 watts right now. And I have connected the light above me the laptop, the monitor, and this blanket, the electric heated blanket, is on level 3. And it's actually quite warm. It feels really good. I'm getting a little sleepy right now, and it's time to go to bed. The BLUETTI power station's at 22% right now. Good night. That frozen liquid outside my door, that was my urine. Well, I wasn't expecting it to be cloudy today, so this is going to be a challenge. The solar panels are not going to receive enough sun to properly charge the BLUETTI power station. You may be thinking, well, if it's so cold there, why isn't there snow? Well, we are just now entering into the rainy season. According to the weather forecast, I believe that the first storm is expected to arrive in 2 days. After that, these mountains are going to be covered in snow until next April. Right now I'm just doing a little hike. I'm going to get down to the stream, try to cross the stream without getting wet, and then go explore a little bit on the other side. Normally this would be easy to cross, but with all the ice covering the rocks now, I'm going to have to be very careful. This is a south-facing slope. That's why it's so barren. I'm going to try to get high enough up on this mountain and look for my teepee. I want to see if I can see it from the distance. It's not a clear view, but I can vaguely see it right over there. That little light spot among the trees. I'm going to go back down now. I'm going to take a different route, explore more of the stream down there. The sun is out. It's time to start charging. Since I set up the panels, the clouds have moved in, and now I'm only getting 57 watts. So we'll see what happens. I'll be able to charge a little bit at least. The power was at 11% when I started cooking the eggs, and now it's down to 7%. So it only took 4% of the power to cook 3 scrambled eggs. That's pretty good, actually. For breakfast today, I'm having scrambled eggs and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then I'm going to go fishing again. BLUETTI is at 22% charge now. It was at 7% when I started solar charging it this morning, so it's increased 15% in about 3 hours. And the weather conditions have been mostly cloudy, and I haven't moved the solar panels that follow the sun either, so that's really good. Oh, by the way, I caught another fish, a nice one. The BLUETTI AC200L is a beast of a power station. High energy appliances are a big challenge for portable power stations. But with moderate to low watt appliances and electronics, this unit really performs well. Combined with the 350 watt solar panels, this power station is ideal for living off grid or as a backup system for your home or office. Wow, it's already 2 p.m. Well, then this concludes my 72-hour test of the BLUETTI AC200L. Thank you, BLUETTI, and thank you for watching.